understand, well, how do you say if he's this, then somebody else is that? And I get it, and it's hard to explain, but I'll try to do the best I possibly can. Skip, Brady is the most accomplished player. He has the title. He has the accolades. But I believe because Rodgers can do so much more. See, the thing is, you almost want Rodgers to throw the ball from the pocket because he can roll left, he can roll right, and still throw the ball 30, 40, 50 yards over your head. Brady, you do everything you can to get him off that spot. And if you get him off that spot, you feel, okay, we've got him. Because Brady has never had legs, that's another aspect of his game you don't have to worry about. That's what made Rodgers so deadly. That's what makes Mahomes so deadly. Because now, although he's not Kyler, let's not confuse Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers with Kyler Murray, they're dangerous enough with their legs to pose a problem. So the question that I ask, if Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning would have had Bill Belichick for 20 years, do you think they have less Super Bowls than what Tom Brady has? I don't believe they do. I believe they have equally as many, if not more. Tom Brady, in his 16 years, he started 19 years in New England. 16 of those years, he had a top 10 defense. Rodgers has had a top 10 defense 3 times. Only one time has he had a top 5 defense, they won the Super Bowl. So for me, Skip, Aaron Rodgers has 5 playoff losses in which his team has given up at least 37. Tom Brady has 2 of those games in 41 playoff games. So for me, I know it's hard to like, this guy has all this, but I do believe Aaron Rodgers is a scarier player to defense than Tom Brady because he poses you so many more problems, not only with his arm, being able to throw the ball left, rolling right, but his ability to run. So I agree with what they said, that I believe Aaron Rodgers is a scarier player, a better player, not a more accomplished player, but a better player. But that's only temporary because there's a guy in the Midwest that's coming, and you're probably going to forget both of them.
Oh, he's going to make you forget the guy who's the GOAT. He's going to make you forget a guy who won 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. Actually should have won a 7th Super Bowl against Eli when he drove his team 65 yards for a touchdown with 2 minutes left, and Eli drove his team against Belichick's vaunted defense 75 yards. No, I think it was 83 yards for a touchdown to cancel out Brady's game-winning touchdown drive against Eli in the first Super Bowl.
But see, Skip, all you do is take the games that he lost and say he should have won. But what about the Super Bowls that he won that he should have lost? Could he have not lost against the Rams? Could he have not lost against the Panthers?
Well, he didn't.
Okay, then. Yeah. Well, he didn't win.
Okay, but he did his job.
No, his job is to win.
2 minutes left.
His job is to win.
He did his job with another game-winning drive. He threw to Randy Moss for a touchdown to make it 14-10 with 2 minutes left.
He didn't win.
Wow, interesting.
He didn't win.
So let's look at this. This question, it nauseates me. It horrifies me because it is so disrespectful to the GOAT. It is so blasphemous that I truly fear that we're going to get struck by lightning in the studio because we're even talking about this and you're giving it credibility.
Yeah.
And what I've found in my many years in television working with so many ex-players, that a lot of guys play football at a high level, but they don't get football. You get football, but a lot of guys I've dealt with or come into contact with, they were Pro Bowl players, all-stars in basketball, but they don't really get what happened. They just played. It came fairly naturally. They worked hard at it, but they don't see it, feel it, get it. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've seen so many championship teams built in all sports by guys who didn't even play beyond high school. Okay? Mm-hmm. So here we go with Torrey Smith and Will Blackmon, and I certainly respected both of them as players. But remember, Will Blackmon did play for 4 years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, so I'm sure he became a fan of Aaron's, and he did get to play against him in practice, so he's seeing exactly what he's made of. And Torrey Smith was a Raven at heart because he was born a Raven, basically, in this league. And he went 1-2 against Brady in playoff games, but as you know, being a Raven, the Ravens hated New England, hated Tom Brady, and they gave him all that he wanted. Right. They won their fair share against Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. So he was like, quote unquote, the devil for you guys to attack and to try to dethrone New England.
Right.
So I get that there'd be some animosity that sticks there. And also, Torrey Smith was on that Eagles team that beat Tom Brady when obviously Nick Foles was the MVP for the Eagles,
right.
and Nick Foles was, hung up 41 points on Belichick's defense. Okay, so let's just step back and look at this. So Aaron Rodgers is 10-8 in the postseason, and the 10 wins include a wild card road playoff run to the championship.
Right.
So that 1 year, which was 10 years ago, he won on the road 3 times to get to the Super Bowl. And then in the Super Bowl, obviously it was at Jerry World. So away from the frozen tundra, the hallowed tundra of Lambeau Field, he won 4 games. Those are included in his 10 wins, obviously. And then you look at his since then, he's been 6-7 in the postseason. And those 6 wins since have included a win over the Vikings when they had a receiver named Joe Webb have to start at quarterback, and over my Dallas Cowboys when Dez obviously caught it and they should have won the game, and against Kirk Cousins when he was like 8th Cousins at that point. And then the Giants Odell boat trip game when they came to Lambeau after they had gotten ready for the game the receivers had down in South Beach. And then the Mason Crossbar game in which Mason Crossbar hit 2 intergalactic field goals to cost my Dallas Cowboys a game that Dak Prescott had thrown them all the way back into. So those are 6 of his 7 wins. He had a good game last year against Russell Wilson at Lambeau, and I'll give you that one. But again, Tom Brady is 30-11 in the postseason. Tom Brady has played some of the greatest AFC championship games we've ever seen, especially at Kansas City against my homeboy. 3 straight 3rd and 10 conversions.
Defense let him down, though.
Okay, but it was greatness personified. You got to watch greatness in the overtime. And then how about against Saxonville when they had the hottest defense in pro football and they come into New England and Brady had just slit his hand open in practice, or maybe it was a home accident, as you suggest.
Skip, well,
20 stitches in his hand.
If you don't mind me asking, who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback for Jacksonville? Was it Gabbert?
No.
Was it
Bortles.
Blake Bortles?
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second.
Okay.
Now, you said that Aaron Rodgers going up against Joe Webb, and he's going up against this guy and Kirk Cousins.
Okay,
Blake Bortles.
But he was up against Saxonville in the 4th quarter. They were down 20-10 early in the 4th quarter, and he's got 20 stitches in the palm of his throwing hand. And in the 4th quarter, he throws for 138 against Saxonville, 2 touchdowns, and brings them back to yet another Super Bowl.
I mean, we keep increasing these stitches because at first I thought it was 12 to match his number,
20.
and now we up to 20.
Well,
okay.
we just had a book that came out in which the author wrote that it was 20 stitches in the base of his hand. Okay. You discount that, and even the coach discounted it. It was the beginning of the end of Tom Brady in New England because the coach dismissed it as not exactly open heart surgery.
So what we're gonna do? So what we're gonna do about these 5 games in which Aaron Rodgers' defense has given up 37 points, and Brady in 41 has only given up 2 of those games, and one of them was in the Super Bowl.
All I know about Aaron Rodgers is I'm going to give you this. He's the flashier of the 2 quarterbacks. He's the more stylish thrower of the 2 quarterbacks. He's got a better arm than Brady. He's cooler. He acts cooler on and off the field. He's a bigger diva than Tom ever thought about being. I give you all that.
Are we sure about that?
That appeals to these ex-players who are like, he's just too cool, man. I love him. I'd be afraid to play him. But if you really look hard at the numbers, at what happened when Aaron Rodgers went to Tampa Bay earlier this year, what happened? He bolts out to a 10-0 lead. Then he goes pick 6, near pick 6,
right.
and he folds. He just ducks and covers, and for the last 3 quarters of that game, he scores 0 points. And he did it again 2 weeks ago at Indy. They're up 28-14 at half, and all of a sudden they turn up the heat on him in the 3rd quarter, and he just folds up, and they get a late field goal to force overtime.
So what are we going to do about them 3 fumbles? What are we going to do about all them turnovers? So that's Aaron Rodgers, the fumble. Basdale Scantling fumble. So that's Rodgers' fault.
Well, I'm just saying, he's had a history of this in big games.
Oh, he's had a history of fumbling in big games? Oh, okay.
Interceptions, poor play.
Oh, okay.
The Seattle championship game, remember that, at Seattle?
So the guy not fielding the onside kick, doing not what he was supposed to do. So that's Rodgers'
But
fault.
go look at the numbers that Aaron put up in that game.
Skip.
Go pull up the scathing criticism of Aaron Rodgers in all the Milwaukee newspapers after that game. Worst playoff game he ever played.
Was he healthy?
I don't know. He'd had a calf pull, I guess, or calf issue.
Thank you.
Yep.
So how many guys you think can play with a calf pull, regardless of the position?
I just don't know how you can defend this, because the one guy, when you've won 6 rings with 6 game-winning drives, it's game over. It's off the charts. Then you can't tell me this player is better than that player, because those don't happen because of the defense. Those happen because you took the football in the end and you drove it for the touchdown.
So that's what happened Sunday, right? So we can't blame Tampa's defense, because that's what happened. Patrick Mahomes took the ball and kept it away from Tom Brady for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. I'm good.
Well,
that's all I wanted you to say. That's all I wanted you to say right there.
That's ridiculous. That's not a game-winning drive. That's playing keep away.
Oh, Skip. He played keep away. He put the ball in the end zone and gave them the ball back with 5 seconds.
He was so clutch in the second half, he threw for a grand total of 103.
He threw for more yards in a half than Tom Brady threw for in a game.
He sat back and had to watch the GOAT just lay it on him in the second half, 17-7.
Skip. Okay, Skip.
He watched Tom Brady pull off 2